too busy. Thank you, Brett. Although today's agenda is not too busy, but I think there are probably a couple of meaty agenda items that we might need to spend a bit more time on. So I'll kickstart today's meeting. We have a reasonably broad range of representations, including folks from CSIRO and the agency, and we also have Andy and Heath and also Brett, sort of from different organizations. So we might need to get into votings later on with some of the tickets. So CSIRO folks, do you have nominated voting members?
We haven't discussed it. So how many do we have from CSIRO?
You have 1, 2, 3. I think is it 3 or 4? I think.
Yeah.
Where is the?
And we've got
about
the same
from
number
the
from
agency as well.
ADHA
Four
as well.
from the agency as well. Yeah.
So do we need to? Are we okay? Or
Well, I mean, in the interest of representation and not sort of being accused of stacking the votes, I think in the past practice we have 2 from our organization that have sort of multiple representations at the meeting. So are we happy to stick to 2 per organization for those who have more than 3 or 4?
yeah, I think that's fine.
So the 2 Michael, as usual, the designated sort of voters, or do we want somebody else from CSIRO?
I think that's okay. I think that works.
She's happy with it. What about you, Shelley? Shelley's happy. All good.
Okay, all good. All right. And then from the agency, I'm not voting, so I would let I think probably David can vote, and also Ricardo can vote if we need to. Are we okay, Ricardo and David?
I'm probably going to suggest Richard instead of me, because I'll probably have to drop off.
Okay, right. I didn't see Richard coming in, so now Richard's in. All good. So then Richard and David, thank you.
I haven't been keeping up with things, but I'll do my best.
I'm sure that you're more than capable of voting, Richard. All right, now with those administrative things sort of set aside, I will kickstart the meeting first by sharing screens. All right, assuming that you all can see my screen. So here is the draft agenda items, and I've also put in a chat in the chat a link to today's sort of draft agenda items. Do we have any questions about the agenda? Do we want to have things deferred? Do we need new items added to that? All right, not hearing anything, so assume that this meeting agenda is good to go. All right, so the next order of business is approval of the meetings of the last minute, which was about a fortnight ago. I recall that I saw Brett send out an email that circulate the notice about the draft.
Stephen?
Sorry, you haven't?
I haven't done it. No, I haven't done it. They're actually even not finished, so I'll have to defer. All right.
Yeah, so
we can. Yeah, we'll have to push that.
I might have mistaken that I saw another one. Yep.
Yeah,
okay, so in that case, then we'll defer this meeting minutes approval until the next meeting on December the 3rd. All right. Okay. All good. Then, all right. Let's get into the business itself. All right. Item number 2, announcements and updates. So, Brett, do you want to take care of those 2 bullet points?
I might just go, just give it a framing, and maybe Ricardo, you might want to talk about the Health Connect stuff. But the yeah, so we have an AFCP project. So this is the first one to come through from the AFCC. You know, basically we're announcing events and things happening with the AFCP projects. So this is one of those to let you know what's happening. And I don't know, you want to say anything, Ricardo?
Thanks, Brett. Well, probably. Look, I don't think I have anything else to add beyond what you just said. So the meeting is on this afternoon. We'll provide a quick overview of the project from a functional perspective, as in the Health Connect project from a functional perspective, and then we'll drill down into the community engagement process and how we're planning on conducting that over the coming months. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ricardo. Just want to bring the audience to the attention about timing. So it starts at 1:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Time and 2:30 Australian Eastern Daylight Saving Time. And you can access to the meeting if you haven't got an email. Then here there is a team coordinate that you can access. So what I will do for those who might have come into the meeting late, I will put into the chat. If I can find the chat, this agenda where you can get to the Microsoft team coordinate this afternoon. Please join us for the presentation and also discussions. All right, and with that done, then second bullet point, Brett.
Yeah, just to mention, the Connectathon is on in December. I think we've announced this multiple times. We're sold out, but we are looking at releasing some tickets. So if you do want a ticket for the Melbourne event, please email the events at h7.com.au. We also have an allocation set aside for co-chairs of committees. So if you are a co-chair, let me know ASAP, because I think we have an allocation that we're going to release probably by the end of the week, if you haven't already got one and want one.
Awesome. And location, venue, Brett?
Location. So if I will drop.
If you can drop a link to the chat, that would be great.
I will do that. The page is slowly fleshing out with more detail, but it does have the dates and the venue.
Yeah, I think it's in one of the Melbourne Uni sort of building in
it's in the new, the new engineering building on Connect. It's quite nice. Good venue.
Oh, have we been to there before?
Yeah, that's
okay, right.
Yeah. So we have the big massive meeting room, so we can have everyone in the same big room. So it's it's very nice.
Right, and good venue for photo time as well. All right. Okay. Anyone has any questions on the Connectathon wait list in December? All right. Hearing none. Item number 3, final ballot reconciliation, which is probably a couple of issues related to the e-requesting. So, Brett, I will let you kickstart, and then I think Michael Wilson will join the conversation as well. Yep.
Yeah, so terrific. So these were the 3 tickets that were raised around terminology, the communication request reason, content. That has gone around with the e-requesting TDG, and some of the ideas have changed a bit, and there is essentially an outcome from that to try and change the purpose for the code system and deal with the consequences of that. So that includes renaming the code system and kind of redefining what it's for. And the terms, there are some updated words on the terms, but they're essentially the same named concepts that were originally in the set in the original issue. So it's I don't know, Michael, do you want to?
Yeah, I can.
It's come back.
Yeah.
Right,
So
Michael, do you want to share something on screen? If you want, I can stop, and then you can take over the screen sharing.
Yeah,
All right, go for it.
And let's see. Hopefully that's it. You can see now.
Yes.
So this relates to the AU base code system, which is communication request reason. So this is what we had at the moment, and we had 3 codes here: urgent, patient, and copy to. So they were being used by e-requesting in the communication request for our communication request reason. So since then, part of our ballot resolution, we had this issue here, 52409, which I think I've got here, which was talking about the use of this code system as well. So the resolution for this now, through the e-request and TDG, is that we're actually looking to use communication request category rather than communication request reason code to classify the type of communication request. So we decided that reason code wasn't the best element to use for the categorization, so we're going to pivot to use category. The thing is, the intent is actually staying the same though. So we're still using a code system to categorize the communication requests. We have made some updates, which is based on some of the advice that came out of FHIR Work Group and others. So the new codes we're looking at here is urgent results, patient preference, copy to reports with updated descriptions. So tying back to AU base, so based on our outcome now, that we're no longer going to use communication request reason code. So we're actually, I suppose, part of this resolution is we are removing must support and all customizations on communication request reason code. And instead we're using communication request category. So we're no longer using the reason code, which was tied to this code system from AU base. So looking here for the FHIR Work Group, what we're suggesting is that you consider repurposing the communication request reason code system as a communication request category code system with the new codes that we've got outlined here above here. So we no longer need the old one. We need a new one, which is category, but it's the same intent. So I think that's the thing here is we're not changing the intent. It's just now mapping to a different element. So I think Brett, and the ballot issues that you had in AU base with these 3 here, which were all related to updates to wording on the reason, and the wording we've used now, we've discussed with Brett that I believe you're okay with this updated wording. That would apply.
Yeah, I'm happy with the wording. That's great. So I'm happy that my request has been met, and I guess we move on to changing things. Yep.
So I think then here, just you've added this bit in, Brett, but about the approach we now take to this.
That was to discuss because because obviously we're saying there will be a new code system, we'll have a new name at least. So I think the IG publishers discussed and thought we probably need to deprecate the original one because we have published it at FMM1 technically, even though nobody's ever used it. So I think that was the discussion really.
I think that's probably a fair approach, is that we deprecate that one, the request reason. We create a new code system, which will be the communication request category code system with those codes. And I think that approach there, you've got, we take it to Connectathon and we move it to AFMM1 before the release.
Heath, you have your hand up?
Just out of interest, how long does the deprecation occur? Is it one cycle?
We have no fixed rules on that. We basically review that until we think it's obsolete.
Yep. Okay.
So So that's a committee decision, not automatic.
Thank you.
Richard?
So if we review that until we decide it's obsolete, possibly we could make it deprecated in the next release, or could we just make it deprecated in the next snapshot and then eliminate it in the snapshot after that?
Good question. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess basically, what is the pathway? Is it that fast, or we don't know yet, or when will
I
we
wouldn't
know?
think of snapshots. It's not really. No one's really looking at snapshots, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. It's not really official, so I think it's got to go through at least one ballot cycle.
So that means the next ballot cycle. Is that what you mean, Heath?
If I'm understanding Richard's suggestion, he's talking about like a snapshot as in the connectathon, and then it's gone in the published. Whereas I think we really need to publish it and say it's deprecated and ask for feedback to say anyone using it needs to tell us. Otherwise, it's going to be gone in the next one, in the next publication. In my opinion.
Sounds a reasonable approach.
Yeah.
So
I wasn't so much advocating a thing as wanting absolute clarity on exactly what's going to happen. And yeah, look, Heath's proposal sounds clear and plausible.
Michael, your thoughts?
Yep, I think that's right. I think we want to deprecate it now with this change, but when we actually remove it, yeah, I think there's no harm and playing it safe, leaving it in there for till the next ballot cycle as deprecated, and then look to remove it for the next ballot cycle. Sounds fine.
I think we need to be seeking feedback as part of the ballot, I think, to see if it's okay to deprecate.
Right.
Oh, sorry. Are you saying we leave it? We don't.
No, sorry, to obsolete it. Sorry. So definitely saying it's deprecated, and our intent is to remove it, and seeking feedback. Otherwise.
Yeah, I think that's important because we don't want people to start using it by mistake. So I think it is important we do make it deprecated now.
Yep.
But yeah, to make it obsolete and remove it, I think it's fine to leave it to the next.
So,
it gets deprecated in the CI build, and then the next snapshot that goes out to review will pick that up and it will be deprecated. And then at the next ballot is the first time it could be eliminated. The next ballot might leave it out on the basis that nobody's wanted it, and so that's the path. And so the next ballot would be the one going out sometime next year, late next year. Is that right?
So from Richard, from a procedural perspective, to come to the logistics of the deprecation, let's sort of get the idea of accepting this approach of deprecating and replacing it with the new code set first. So Andy, you are another requesting co-chair. Are you okay with the deprecating proposition at the moment?
I don't have any issue.
Okay. All right, Brett, you have any other thoughts?
No, only, could we please clearly state what will exactly change so we can put it into the resolution?
So that brings me to the next point. Are we ready to entertain a motion today, or do we need some more time?
I'll just, Brett, do you want, shall we pose this new change and then go through each of the tickets to then address the resolution of those, or do we want to address it under one of those?
I'm happy if we do it all at once and copy it into each of them. That's probably easier, I think, just to cover it off.
Sounds efficient approach.
Just make one motion. Yeah.
Okay.
So, Michael, do you want to type your motion, or you want to just read it out?
I know what the change I want. I'm just trying to work out if we're doing it in these, do these become not persuasive with modification, or do they become persuasive with modification?
I think they're persuasive with, because you did change.
Because we did make the change with the wording.
Yeah, with mod, definitely,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, I've got this. I'll propose that the resolution to these three issues, 51889, 51890, and 51891, is persuasive with modification. The change we are proposing is to create a new communication request category code system with the new codes outlined in the table. You can see in the agenda with urgent results, patient preference, copy to reports. And we will look to decommission the existing AU-based code system communication request reason.
So, Brett, have you captured this, or do you need it in sort of written out in text for you to taking note, for you to be minuting the notes?
I'm happy to write it up.
Okay,
Based on the recording. Yep.
Okay,
So,
all right, cool.
So have we covered everything? We've got a new code system. We've got codes as per stated,
Table.
and deprecate the communication request category code system.
Deprecate the communication request reason.
Oh, reason. Sorry,
Yep.
Wrong word. Yep. Good. I have it.
Okay, so we're going to create a new code system. We're going to deprecate an existing code system. We've also got to change resources so that they stop using the old code system and start to refer to the new code system. Is that part of this exercise, or is that another
No,
exercise?
that will be done in e-requesting. So we've already got our
Okay,
existing,
good, thank you.
because our e-requesting one was to create a new code system. So essentially that's been referred to here to have AU base create the code system. The rest of the changes will be managed in e-requesting.
Yep, including the change from using the communication request reason to communication request dot category.
Correct. Yep.
All right.
And a
Okay,
value
are
set
we?
too.
Yeah. Are we all clear about the motion? Anyone has any questions before I ask for a seconder? All right. Anyone? Michael Wilson makes a motion. Anyone who want to second the motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you, Andy. All right. Any further discussions? Any clarifications and questions that you want to ask Michael Wilson? Okay, hearing none. Brett, can you please launch the VE vote for me? Thank you.
Do that.
All right, the e-vote is on your screen. Please vote as per stated in the resolution that Michael articulated earlier, affirmative, negative, or abstain. I'm the chair, I can't vote, so we'll count yours. All right, have I seen the result? I can't see the result, Brett.
Oh, I can tell you.
Okay.
With my +1 affirmative, we have 9 affirmative, 0 negative, and 1 abstention.
All right, that means motion carried. Thank you. Then do we need to talk about are we happy with the deprecation logistics that we have discussed earlier, or do we want to unpack it a bit more?
I think quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we know what we're going to do for the next snapshot. We'll have a deprecated
Awesome. All right.
code system and a new code system for the connectathon. Yeah.
That's a lot easier than I thought.
Yeah.
I think we should be able to finish today's meeting much earlier than I anticipated. All right, so that takes care of item number 3. All right, and then we move into item number 4, interim co-chairs. Brett?
I have to go around on this one again, because I think there was a plan to talk about interim co-chairs because terms are ending at the end of the year, but Andy might weigh in. But I think there's some discussion about exactly how this will proceed. So at the moment, I think we're just holding station until we have a confirmation whether there'll be an election in the near future and dates of that, because that might be on the cards. So at the moment, we're going to continue to the end of our terms, and then we may get more information from the board
All right.
very
So
soon. Board meeting tonight. Yep.
Yeah, just for context, sort of purposes, there are three co-chairs currently serving FHIR Work Group co-chairs. The terms ends at in December the 31st. That include myself and Brett. And who is the next one? Is that Danielle?
Yeah, Danielle as well.
Yeah. So the three current co-chairs, the term expires by the end of this year. So Brett will work it out with HL7 AU board as regarding sort of beyond the end of this year, sort of what are the process for interim co-chairs, and after that. Okay.
Yeah, that's what we'll say.
All right. Then number 5, AU. I assume that it's AU base R6. Is that correct? Or?
Oh yes, AU base. Yeah.
So R7. I beg your pardon.
Yeah, because I mean, we talked about this briefly last time about how we might go about deciding what goes into R7. So I think yeah, I think maybe the co-chairs can discuss this, but like we need a way probably to vote or somehow decide content. That's at least on the planned agenda for the next cycle. So we've got some time to do this. So it's more just coming to a way where we can get good engagement.
Right, Ricardo, you have your hand up.
Stephen, look, this is probably more of a question out of curiosity than anything else, and I guess it's for you, Brett. So when we're thinking about doing this from an AU-based perspective, are we also taking into account what's happening in AU core and how the two will need to kind of, or will need, I'm not sure if they will need, or how things will move, in a synchronized manner, or even if this is a consideration you might be kind of factoring to your thinking. I'd just be interested to hear your views on that.
I think we have an obligation to support the downstream IG activity regardless of whether that's on our plan or not. So I think we do need to kind of, as much information as we can get, obviously that helps us plan if we need to do that. But I think the main mission for the AU base is to support the downstream content. So yeah, I think we have to be, we have to kind of support that as a priority. I think so. I don't want to kind of push off or delay downstream work. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Brett, from what I know, those are AU core backlog items that are not in AU base would also be considered, right?
Yeah, which was my kind of follow-up question, back to the pitches last week. So I think when we looked at AU core in the context of those pitches, we mostly focused on AU CDI, but I reckon there's also an impact on BASE, somewhere in this process. I'm assuming.
Yeah. So I think like we have to because I guess as well, like we have to take on board whatever's coming out in the downstream group. So there's some kind of commitment for if, say, in the AU core IG that certain things will be covered in the next cycle. We'll know that that's probably on our list of things we have to think about. But same with e-requesting. If there's things e-requesting needs, which I think there are some in the backlog. We have things in the backlog that I think the e-requesting is already indicated they kind of want. So that's definitely, probably needs some prioritization. Yeah.
But we also should obviously take into account also IGs that aren't HL7 Australia IGs, where there is, broader use in the community of something and they need that common foundation, and none of the formal IGs from HL7AU have necessarily got to that work yet. So I think of all of the things that goes on around the FHIR AU base has the broadest scope of focus, because they're not putting constraints on any use, they're just creating the foundations to be constrained by whoever decides to use it.
I think the stuff the pitch stuff in AE Core, I think I think there is. I think bringing a bunch of stakeholders that need it done is a very powerful message, because it's like whether they're using using a downstream spec or their own specs or their own needs. I think that's really useful, because we kind of need the stakeholders to come and represent the product, right? What do they need?
Heath, you
So
have your hand up?
Yeah, I was just wondering, it might help those that are not living and breathing this every time, but where are we at, and what is the next cycle that we're talking about? So is it like January, February, we're publishing what we've just balloted, and then we're going to ballot again in August? So the next cycle is actually August?
yeah, we haven't even decided that, but I think that would make sense.
But we are,
Yeah.
what we've traditionally been doing is aligning it with AU Core, right? And I think AU Core is another cycle, like the R3 that we've talked about, Ricardo's talking about. I think it was planned for sort of August.
Yeah, like in some ways, like if anyone goes to ballot, it's probably worthwhile having an AU-based ballot at the same time. But so, but I haven't. I know patient summary is going to ballot in
February, March, I think.
Yeah. So,
okay.
But I don't think. Yeah, I'm not sure we'll be doing expanding scope for that.
But that'll be
time
based
period.
on what's published in February, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
And then
exactly.
Because it's a okay.
Yeah. So I think they call kind of EOIs and whatever happens there. Yes, that's definitely on the agenda. But there's extra. Yeah, there's people that have particular needs, or other things going on, say like ACP projects or other things that require content. I mean, what we need to do though is get enough stakeholders into the meetings to get a good outcome. So I think some of that needs the right people in the room. I mean, if it requires expert input, we're going to need, or people that know that domain. We're going to need those people along. Yeah.
So there's an example. I've just created a card, which is a new value set and binding required for AUPS. And that will be required for the February ballot. So would that be included in R6 or as part of its publishing, or is that an R7? Or like, sounds challenging to me actually to get.
Yeah, that's a good question, because we've got a few things on the backlog that might make it into a publication, but it depends when if we go to ballot again. So we better make up our mind, I think, is the short answer. Because like if we wanted to have,
Brett,
I hear your needs, Heath. It makes it because PS is depending on it, and like the problem is we won't have a balloted published version with that change in it if we don't provision that. Yeah.
So Brett, just a thought. From my experience, usually the connectathon has quite a broad and considerable number of participations. Do we want to set aside some time during the connectathon to discuss about the scoping?
Well, we could do a breakout even if you're really keen. We could spend.
I didn't think we were allowed to do that, bro.
Yeah, no.
Sure,
Anyway,
we can do that.
I can edit.
I thought it was you that suggested that we couldn't, Andy.
No, we can do
I can type it in
breakouts
compliments.
as long as they're related to implementation.
Good.
They're
related to the tracks, yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. But
So
I think actually something, or actually maybe the breakout is about what do the downstream specs need from AE base and when, and we can work it out.
I think in my experience, I think given the kind of engagement and participation and engagement, it might be useful to consider that whether or not that is allowed or not allowed. That's another different question. But I think Andy has just given us a path forward to how to frame it so that it can
It's
be
all okay
allowed.
now. Andy's in charge of events at the board, so
It's been
All right.
ratified.
it's done now. I've recorded it.
But there
Okay.
appears to be a process issue though, like because again, I'm trying to understand where AU base is at, and I'm not actively involved. So we've just gone to ballot for R6. We've reconciled. We're about to publish R6 in February, but there's going to be a request for a new value set by AUPS to be added to R something. And is that allowed to go into R6 without it having gone to ballot? And I thought we couldn't do that. Or can it at a low FMM level?
This is where having a separate terminology kind of implementation guide would actually make things a lot easier.
I think it might be able to go in as a draft pending sort of like the August ballot.
Yeah. But PSR1 can't publish, right? Unless it's got a version it can refer to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we get into this situation of publishing in PS in June or whenever.
Yeah.
Unless it's in a ratified form.
I think it means AU base has to go to ballot as well, and then we can resolve it in ballot.
Okay.
Shouldn't
So is that an R7 ballot?
Well, I'd prefer to not call it R7, but that's a different question. Yeah.
All right, Michael Wilson, you have your hand up.
I was just going to say, yeah, this is definitely a problem. I mean, it's caused us a lot of headaches with e-requesting with the terminology and the like, as we've gone through ballot cycles at the same time, the chicken egg type thing. So definitely, like Andy suggested, if it was a separate terminology IG, it would be easier, but it does cause some problems where we've got to push the terminology into base, but it's going to ballot at the same time and hasn't made it in time. So just highlighting that it is going to be a recurring problem. We've just gone through it, and patient summary is going to go through the same thing.
Yeah, I just want to say to Michael Osborne, you're right. I told Ruben there were no specific items for him today, and apparently there are.
All right, I have three hands up. Richard, Heath, and then David.
A possibility is to have a sort of reduced scope ballots that go out. So you might have a terminology only ballot that goes out very late in the period, with the thing being the only feedback that will be responded to is stuff about, and here's a short list of items. And so we could do something like that. And that something like that might be a usable pattern before we split terminology off into its own space.
Heath?
I'm not sure that I think that a separate terminology is actually going to solve the problem. It's going to be just yet another thing that we have to manage, but it's something that has to be managed on a regular basis. So I think we've just got to get to a point where we're doing 2 ballots a year, at least, probably 2 ballots a year for AU core, AU base, because we've got lots of stuff going on, basically.
Yeah,
I think we've got the provision for 2 a year, haven't we, rather than 1?
Oh, we could, yeah, definitely. And so, like, I think we should, like, whether that's automatic, but I think when something goes to ballot, it is actually good for AU base to go to ballot, even if we don't know if there's anything to do, because we do get referred tickets. I think back in one of AU core, we did have a cycle where AU base didn't go to ballot, but we still made changes. But that still is not an official release at that point. It's just a snapshot. So yeah, I think it'd be good to probably say AU base intends to ballot in Feb, and then.
But it could be something like a 6.1 if you don't want to go to 7.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
We can actually publish 6.0 and then ballot 6.1.
Yeah, it has no major additions, like basically. Yeah.
All right, David.
Okay.
This is thing somebody mentioned before about going to just putting say terminology or whatever content into AU base, and then just putting it with a very low FFM level, and then when we come around to the ballots to review next time, that those low FFM level items are the need to be included in, as comment and feedback.
All right. Anything else that we want to explore further for AU base R7?
Ruben's made it.
What do you mean?
That's because I told him everyone was excited about THO.
Ruben
He's
cyber
made it.
trained.
All right.
Sorry, I've obviously missed something. Yeah.
We're finished
It was
now.
it was the most support for THO I heard in 5 minutes all at
He
once.
said Heath hates the idea, so you'll have to argue with him.
Oh no.
Well,
know.
it depends on the
It's
changes
fine.
because NCTS is independent of AU base. So if you're talking about changes to NCTS, it's already separated.
It's not what I'm talking about. It's moving all the HL7 Australia artifacts that have a terminology.hl7.org.au URI into its own IGN package. Completely independent of NCTS, though some of those value sets may indeed reference SNOMED, but everything that's homed in the NCTS that's theirs would be separate to this.
I didn't think we were allowed to have value sets that reference SNOMED in HL7.
Of course we are.
Yeah, we do.
We definitely do.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, we often use them, but yeah.
Yeah, I think we do anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Any other discussions on that? Item number 5.
I think maybe the co-chairs should get together and work out an interim plan because I think as a process thing we're extending the sign-up period for the February ballot because it's so early in the year. To 2 months, which pushes back the notice of intent to ballot to just before that. So I think we should come to the work out and bring back to the group that we intend to ballot perhaps for February and work out our versioning, and so that's what we're going to do because that kind of I think helps patient summary and maybe others. Yep.
You mean AU base R611?
Yeah, I guess I do.
Right.
Yeah, and I think we'll have to work out exactly what we let into 6.1 is probably the question. Do we only do things that are supporting the downstream specification?
The thing is that by scoping the ballot sort of by scope might sort of help, but people might still want to comment on everything else, which will be something that we need to anticipate. So when you said all co-chairs gather together to talk about, you mean FHIR Work Group co-chairs and not all co-chairs under HL7AU?
Yeah, I think the FHIR Work Group co-chairs should work out. Yeah, we can talk to the others.
All right, so we have our regular co-chairs calls every fortnightly. We can talk about that, and then we can socialize the other co-chairs sort of into the conversation as well. I think that's a good plan.
Yeah, I think that's good because it is it's a little unique. I think what with AU base being in the mix compared to some of the other international setups because they don't have that dependency. Yeah.
All right. With that done, let's move to the final item, which item number 6. Greg?
I am unaware of any outstanding actions.
Neither do I.
You got one,
Oh,
Michael?
Michael has your hand up. Are you talking about outstanding action?
On just a question regarding the decision we made today about the code system. Do we have someone to make that change, and just how long we might think it will take? Because we need to make changes downstream in e-requesting once that change is in the CI build. And we want to take it to the connectathon as well.
Yeah, yeah, good question.
Our
We might
715
have
IG and
Did you want to volunteer me?
Lancet can launch it.
Well, we do like volunteers that want to put PRs in, so that's that would be the most efficient way, perhaps. And
I
yeah,
could
if
probably stick
Michael's
my hand
around.
up with Danielle being
Yeah.
away.
So
That's
Michael
all right, 'cause
Osborne, Michael
yeah.
Osborne, are you volunteering?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we'll make sure it's so if you can get it into good shape, we'll Dish and I can review it and get it in.
What's going to
Sounds
happen?
good.
So in that case, we do have an action item coming into this one. So Michael Osborne taking action on the changes required for the resolution today.
Yeah, I'll make sure the resolution's written up too, Michael, so that and then the
Sounds
ticket.
good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So do we have a timeline for the completion of these actions?
Right now, only construction.
5 p.m.
Yeah, ASAP.
Is that-
Very good.
It's
I won't do that.
Michael needs to change so he can make the other changes. So he's dependent on himself now.
Yeah.
All right. So
yeah,
I
that's
believe
good.
I'll leave
Yeah, so
the two Michaels to coordinate the activities on this action item.
Yeah, and these are we're down to our last couple of PRs, I think, for the content from the reconciliation. So this will be, I think, winding up.
So
Yeah.
in terms of reporting back, Michael, do you think that at the next work group meeting, which is a fortnight away, you would have something to report back in terms of progress?
Piloted under contract.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, cool. All right, so there's action item on Michael Osborne, and then reporting back will expect to be an action item for reporting back next meeting, which is on December the 3rd. All right, so that takes us to unless there are any other business, the next sort of meeting will be the December the 3rd, and we have a co-chair meeting next Monday, and then we'll publish the meeting agenda well before the work group meeting on December the 3rd. Any other business that any members at this meeting want to raise before we entertain a motion to close or adjourn the meeting?
I've got something.
Ruben?
Oh, yes, you go first.
No, you got your hand up.
Okay. I know Brett might kill me for this, and I will probably regret saying it, but the end of this week is the beginning, I think, of the ballot sign up for the first normative version of FHIR 6. All HL7 Australia members aren't obviously eligible to vote in that ballot. However, HL7 Australia makes the likes of Brett and I available to always be able to sign up and participate, and we are more than happy to put forward any ballot comments HL7 Australia members may have. So the ballot version of the spec will probably be available shortly, and we can make an announcement about that in Zulip in the Australia stream. So just letting everyone know, if you want to provide commentary during that ballot period, which I think will run from mid-December to mid-January, that's why I said I might regret it, then please get in touch with Brett and I, and we can put forward your ballot comments. That's it. Thank you.
The consensus pool sign up ends this weekend, or is this Friday?
I think it's Friday, Stephen, but that might be US Friday. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it is definitely US Friday midnight.
Yeah.
Sort of 11:59. That's the usual timing. Can I ask someone, either you or Brett, to send out an email broadcast, reminding members about the December, January ballot cycle, HSF International, so that people are aware of it?
We can send something out.
Okay, that'll be great. All right. Sorry, Heath, you have your hand up.
Sorry, just one thing on Ruben. Was that the entire FHIR or a particular ballot in particular?
It's it's on the path to becoming the first normative version of FHIR, completely normative, not mixed mode, normative and trial use.
Of
so
R6.
Of R6 as a whole.
R6.
And of course, that means
R6.
things that weren't ready to go normative have actually been plucked out of it and will move to different IGs, which will probably be balloted next year sometime. But what remains and what's there in the CI build right now, more or less, it's currently in QA, is what's going to be balloted. And I think it probably covers pretty much all the resources we've profiled in AU base. So yeah.
Yeah,
that's
pretty important.
Yeah,
it
is. It is very important. And another interesting thing is that for those work groups, their resources don't make into the R6 normative ballot. The plan, I don't know whether or not that has changed, is for each work group to have their own IG that have things that don't get into normative. I can't remember the name of the IG that has been called.
They are sort of anecdotally referring to them as incubator IGs.
Yes,
I'm not a fan of the term, but that's what they're using.
Yeah, incubator is the term. So I have articulated my concern about sort of the proliferation of incubator, so work group specific incubator IG, making it sort of really a major headache to discoverability. But it is what it is at the moment.
Yeah, that's right, Stephen. And I think the policy is that work groups can have at least one or more IGs. So FHIR is working on a test IG for test resources. Terminology infrastructure will only have one, and I think we're going to be calling it the terminology module evolution FHIR IG, where for the moment the only things that'll go in there are two operations which weren't ready to go normative. But it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, my preference is to have a single incubator or evolutionary sort of IG for all work groups. But I think from the discussion with Graham is that it's very difficult to coordinate with every work group. So we now end up with one or more for each work group, which to me is sort of hugely problematic in the sense of discoverability. But it is what it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sounds difficult.
There's just one last point I want to make about this, and it's a very important one, is that the URIs for the resource types that move out of the core spec and into IGs, those URIs are not changing. They will be hl7.org/FHIR URIs, exactly the same as they were in the core spec. So in theory, once R6 is out and the IG is out, you can have them both as dependencies and everything is just going to work. That remains to be seen how well that works in practice, but that at least is the thinking right now.
So I think I see Richard stand up first and then Heath. So Richard.
One thing about this disassembly of a single thing and spreading it across a few bits and pieces is there's likely to be a lot of really ragged edges that will, it'll be good for a lot of people to have a look at it to help point out all the little places where things are broken. Because a restructuring like this just cries out for a lot of detail and a lot of detailed review.
Wait till you see the changes to the dosage data type, Richard, if you're talking about ragged edges.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, that's a different sort of thing. I mean,
it is.
Yeah, but yes, yeah. Dosage seems to be the gift that keeps on demanding.
But unfortunately, I mean, I'm not trying to defend the new dosage data type. I think Graham has done an excellent job in trying to accommodate as many complex use cases as possible. And to the degree that there are complex use cases that is not a sort of a modelable in a structured way. So unfortunately, that's the reality. Heath?
Yeah, so I'm just one final 2 points. I mean, the discussion that we had this morning, for example, the medication statement and no known medications. Obviously, there's some changes in R6 there. So that's just pointing out that what Brett said, it's really important, this ballot, because there is some really pivotal changes coming in R6. The point that I wanted to make, and I understand that there is a process around not topics being on the agenda for at least a week. But I did raise an item, and I just wonder if there is some time, whether it's worth socializing the card that I raised, Brett, regarding a UPS, even though we can't make a decision or motion on it today, whether it's worth progressing at least in the time that we've got left.
I'll leave that to the chair, but yeah, I think we wouldn't be able to decide anything, but yeah, it might be good to just get a handle on that issue, because that will come back in the next call.
It might just save some time next call if the next call is full. But basically it's a new value set or a new binding for a value set. And I'm also unsure exactly how this ties in with NCTS. So just from a discussion perspective, if the chair would entertain me for a few minutes, but I don't want to get in the way of process.
Sure. I think I just want to make one comment in regard to what you said, Heath, earlier about the discussions about no medication. Next week, 6 a.m. Oh no, not 6 a.m. 7 a.m. Brisbane time and 8 a.m. Oh no! I beg your pardon. My time, I got all the time jumbled up. 8 a.m. Brisbane time and 9 a.m. Sydney time. IPS will have a meeting with the Australians to discuss matters related to common to IPS and PS. And then from next week onward, it will be every fortnightly. That's my understanding. Correct, Eve?
No.
No?
It is next Wednesday. If you're talking about the IPS
yeah,
calls,
next Wednesday, yes.
It's next Wednesday, and it is 9 o'clock Sydney time,
Yep.
8 o'clock Brisbane time.
Yep.
Is the regular fortnight. So
Yes.
today was the off fortnight.
Yeah.
So we're starting a regular fortnightly one as of next week.
Yeah, so that's what I was trying to say. So
Okay.
it's sort of like from next week, and then from then it will be fortnightly going forward.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, Heath. All right. You said that you have something else that you want to put forward.
Yeah, as long as you're happy with just discussion, knowing that we can't do any vote on it. So just to socialize it. So I put in a link there. Maybe if you can pull it up on your screen, whoever's sharing.
Let me go to chat.
So it's about
which one is that?
It's about the
Here.
four up. So 5, 3, 4, 6, 9.
That one.
That's the one.
Yep.
So basically at the through these discussions, so AUPS is basically got an agreement that we want to, in medication statement, allow the Australian term of no known current medicines. It's a term that is only in Australia, SNOMED at the moment. But we want to have a new value set in NCTS that includes the current Australian medication value set, plus this additional code, no known current medicines. So that action is with Matt. Actually, that's not true. I don't know who is actioning the NCTS. I don't understand the process of how these new value sets get in, but I've been asked to raise this card in particular to ensure when that new value set is added to AUPS that it is added as a preferred binding against the medication statement medication element instead of the current one, which is SNOMED CT medication codes as an example. So this would be a preferred binding in AU base to the new NCTS one, which is the Australian medicines value set plus this one code, no known current medicines from the Australian SNOMED codes. So what's the process and around that? And just really wanted to socialize that. So
It's not been raised yet. I'm having a look in FHIR, which is where all the value set stuff goes. We can raise it. We just need a business owner from here. So is that you, Heath, or?
I think if this is a AU-based ticket, so we would go through the discussion, and if the group agrees that the binding should be added to AU-based, we would then request value set be created in NCTS.
is that the process? Is it? So basically AU base needs to agree that the value set is necessary and then it gets escalated to NCTS.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, I think, Landon, you have your hand up.
Actually, it might have been Ruben first.
Or is it Ruben first? Because
Yeah.
I can't see.
Yeah, there's
you're
no numbers. I'll just go. I guess my first question is, why does this have to be an NCTS value set? Couldn't it just be an AU base FHIR value set, which is part of AU base?
Well, it goes back to my comment that I made earlier, which I thought there was an understanding that anything that was relevant to SNOMED was something that was managed by NCTS and not by HL7 Australia.
And there's nothing else like it all.
Yeah.
I think there may be a tradition of something like that, but I even question the tradition really. So with my agency hat on, I know that there is an intent to actually sort out this governance process whereby things proposed in HL7 Australia, be it in Spark or outside of Spark, that necessitate the need for something to be done by the NCTS. That's not really a clear process at the moment. It's kind of moving along based on the NCTS CSIRO agreement with the agency, but it's not very formal and not very clear. I'm trying to get that made clear, and I know others in CSIRO and the agency would like to see that happen as well. But I do think that within HL7 Australia itself, we actually need to understand the way we'd like things to work and takes into account, negative impacts if value sets beyond our control suddenly change. The whole philosophy of value sets are that they're meant to be use case specific and ideally in the IG that uses them. And this, I think, is a classic case of that. So figuring those things out is really what we need to start looking at doing.
If it's not clear to you, Ruben, then I'm really worried. I agree with you.
Thank you.
Okay, so is it Landon first or David first? So I can't see it. Probably Landon first, all right?
Yes, just super quick question. So I'm looking at base now, and there is an Australian medication preferred binding with a number of others. I was just wondering why this would be a new value set, not an augmentation of that existing one.
Because we want to reuse the existing one for medication request and medication, but medication statement has this additional code. So that goes in line with the decision that we made in AUPS a week ago, which was that only medication statement would be allowed to contain this code. And the preferred that you're talking about are additional bindings. We're actually talking about at the element level in AU base, so that because at the moment SNOMED CT medication codes is the one that we inherit from FHIR core, and it's only an example. So it's making that AU base profile more strict around what is the AU-based preferred value set.
All right, David.
And I don't,
Sorry.
just a final comment, I don't know what happens now in AU Core around the additional bindings. So again, I don't fully understand that process either. So, but we're starting
won't
here.
affect.
It
Yes,
doesn't,
sorry. Yeah, the AU core will just inherit binding from AU base. The element binding and the additional bindings will stay as they are. And we have slices defined for AMD and BBS binding, so it doesn't affect AU core.
that was my understanding from talking to
Yeah.
Danielle, but it didn't make sense to me why. But anyway.
All right, David.
Okay, so just put in the chat anyway. Just wondering what the forum was for discussing AU-based terminology content. I had a bit of a chat to Brett and so I logged the ticket, but I'm just wondering where we go to from here.
Yeah, we definitely have more things because David's got tickets logged with modifications to terminology as well. Again, that's probably important to get published for people to use.
Isn't this the forum?
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah,
So
it just wasn't in the ballot. So again, it goes into
I think the
into the backlog.
international I think based on international conventions, members can request for matters to be added to the meeting agenda. So my kind of response to you, Heath, is that if you want to make a request to the FHIR Work Group co-chairs to have what you wanted to discuss to put on the agenda, we can then give members advance notice through the draft agenda publication, and then people can then, who are interested or passionate, can then come and participate in the discussion and then voting.
Yeah, Dushi did that for the next meeting, but I just wanted to take the opportunity to socialize this was coming.
Yep.
And I think based on this, it's actually been a good discussion because I think we're opening up a whole heap of holes.
Yeah, because I kind of think it would be good. Yeah, I think it would be good because to talk about going to ballot in Feb and adding these things that people are needing in a hurry into the scope for that. That's what I think we should do.
Yeah.
And and then that way people are getting what they need. Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
Was that the discussion before I joined, Brett?
Yeah, because because we have this dependency, like, and Heath's is one, and David's one's come through from the HCA project needs as well, and like it's just that we can't, and Michael's we can't resolve it.
I'll probably have one more to add there. Not sure if it's the same one as David, but we have new HI service identifiers, which many of you probably would be aware of, but they're actually accepting applications for the Health Support Service Provider for Organization Identifier, HSPOs, and I'm in the final stretch of getting URIs agreed for those, which would be great to include in a future and imminent release of AU base.
David, is your hand still up, or is it a new hand? All right.
I forgot to take it down.
Okay. All right. So that's a good discussion, Heath. Thanks for bringing this item up for socialization for now. And we'll wait for you to put in a agenda inclusion request, and then we can schedule to further discussions and progressing the matter further. All right.
So,
any other new business?
Can I just ask a question?
Sure.
Dushi, you put it on the agenda already. Sorry, it's the 3rd. Yeah, I thought it was later than that. I was a bit worried it was about a month away, but it's only in 2 weeks, so that's cool.
Next meeting, yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
and the co-chairs, co-chairs will talk about it at our catch up and work it out.
I haven't looked into the December meeting agenda, so okay.
I think David as well. We could probably, in the same spirit, look at the ticket that David McKillop read as well.
We will discuss this at our next co-chair meeting on coming Monday, and then finalize the agenda item. All right. Anything else that colleagues are passionate about? We have another 15 minutes left. Otherwise, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Happy to
Move we
adjourn.
go.
Thanks,
Yep.
Stephen. My passion's run out.
I'll second that.
All right, all good. We
15
every one
minutes.
of us have
Together.
their passionate items, and Heath heard my passionate argument this morning at the IPS meeting.
I'm
I
sure
think
it'll
it's all-
continue.
Sure, it will continue. I like not being a chair because not being a chair, I can argue more passionately. Being a chair, I have to be kind of impartial to the argument. So anyway, thank you everyone for your contribution. It's a sort of a wonderful meeting, and we got a few things done. So we'll see you guys here again in 2 weeks.
Thanks, Stephen.
Thanks, Stephen.
Thanks, Stephen.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Cheers.
you. Bye.
Can we stop recording?
Yeah.